I'm here with my cousin Rhianna today. We are camping, actually, and she is going to talk to us about the joys and challenges of homeschooling. Okay, Rhianna, you taught 5 years in the public school, and then you chose to stay home with your babies, and now they are school age. Some of them are old enough to be taught.
Yes.
And so you're teaching some of them at home.
Yes.
So tell us about your decision to choose homeschooling.
Well, it was a interesting decision because it wasn't anything that was on our radar. We knew that we had committed to pray each year what we were going to do for our girls, and we felt like the Lord was prompting us to homeschooling, and it wasn't really one of our choices. We were thinking public and private. There was a little nagging, don't forget about homeschooling, and we just kind of didn't really feel content in that. But I was doing a Priscilla Schreier Bible study on Jonah, and in one of her videos she just randomly said, what if God's calling you to homeschool? And I was like, oh my, you know? And so then
it's like
I
the
just...
still small voice, it's
yes,
just gotten louder.
Yes, it just got really loud. And I thought, you know, I don't want to be Jonah in the belly of a whale being disobedient to God because it's not what I wanted to do. So there we go. We started homeschooling.
4, 6 through 9 talks to us about teaching our children, and we've all been given the responsibility to disciple our children in some way, though that may look different from family to family. But God has entrusted us with our own children, and we're called to disciple them. And so tell us about the joys of homeschooling in the season you're in.
Right now, in the season that we are in, it's fun to be able to just individualize that instruction for each child, and obviously each child is different, so they go at different paces. It's nice to be able to go back and catch something that they didn't get, or to be able to just keep moving on with what they're excelling at and what they're doing.
They grasp it really quickly. Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know there are a lot of challenges in all different seasons of motherhood. Like, you know, we know this from experience. And so, again, challenges can look different from family to family. Right. So how is homeschooling challenging right now? How's it stretching you?
Well, for me right now, I feel like we've done it, this is our 5th year of homeschooling, so I finally feel like I'm a little bit into a groove, but I very much remember the challenges. I'm a yes person. I want to do, hey, let's go to the park, let's go do this, and I said yes too many times that first year, and when it was all said and done, I wasn't where I wanted to be. So through some learning, I've been able to do my best yes, and be able to really focus on what is my purpose of homeschooling. It's not just to have extra free time. It's not to be able to, you know, teach my own kids in my own house because I don't like anything else. But it was choosing what was best for my family. I'm a very structured and scheduled person, so a challenge has been for me to know that it's okay to start a lesson at 9:36 when it was supposed to start at 9:35, you know?
Right.
So just things like that, but it has made us more cohesive as a unit at home when we kind of fall into that. So.
Yeah, this season you're in right now.
I love the fact that right now I have more time to focus on my middle child. This is the first year for our oldest to be in public school, so that's a little bit different for us. But being able to really focus on her and get to see her flourish, I love getting to see those light bulb moments with her, and getting to encourage her and seeing her succeed. I really enjoy that right now.
That's really special with the middle one.
Yes.
Because, like, I have 3 also. Yes. And the oldest one, like, I celebrated every little accomplishment, like, over the top, over what was necessary. And I remember the first time he clapped his hands, all of those kinds of things. With a little one, it's always the last time we do every single thing. And, oh, this is the last time someone will be in a crib. And so with the middle one, it's not any less special, but it's celebrated differently.
It is, and so I'm really enjoying to get to do that with her and be able to see that.
It's always special to do that stuff with the middle one. Yeah. That is special. Encourage a mom who's like just beginning in homeschooling and maybe she feels like she just isn't enough. like you said in the beginning, you were making those yes and no choices. And I think one thing I was thinking earlier when you were talking about that was one thing I learned from the best yes was that when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Right.
So if I say, and I've experienced this as a stay-at-home mom, and I didn't stay at home just to have a lot of extra time, I stayed home to be with my children. And if I say yes to all of our play dates or coffee dates or whatever throughout the week, then I'm saying no to being at home together.
Yes. And I think that's
and I've
something.
experienced that a lot.
The day that my girls woke up and said, "Mom, where are we going today?"
Mm-hmm.
I knew right then that we were going too much, and our focus was getting away from the house and the home and the purpose of what we had decided as a family.
Right.
What is our purpose for homeschooling?
That's a big light bulb moment.
Yes.
For me, when I realized I am doing something totally different with this time than what I've intended to do, all good things, and all things I wish I could say yes to all of it, but it's a no to something else. So a mom who's just beginning may feel like she's just not enough because she's learning to prioritize or a different struggle. What would you say to the mom who's feeling just inadequate?
Yeah, you are your child's number one advocate. There's nobody out there who's going to love your kid more than you are.
So true.
And even if it's in a small increment amount of time in a day, that over time, those quality periods are going to, add up, and that's where you're going to see those results. As a homeschooler, most people have chosen this because God has chosen it for them. Mm-hmm. So, if the Lord has brought this across your path, He's going to provide, and He's going to make you able.
Right.
Yes.
You're already enough.
Right. And the measuring up to the moms on the blogs or the TVs or, in the community can be good and can be hurtful sometimes, So you just kind of have to find that balance and remember that if the Lord has called you to do it, He's going to provide a way for you to be enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's good to be challenged by your peers.
Right.
And to have that good scaffolding of oh, she does this really well and I want to learn from her. Yes. But when it becomes a comparison game, she does this so well and maybe that's not how we were equipped, and our children aren't the same.
Right.
And so I really like how you said that. So there are also moms who are just beginning who might just need a little encouragement. And what is your wisdom for them at the very beginning when you're just starting? Here's my advice to you. What would you say to that mom?
Well, it's funny because I tell my kids almost every day, use what you do know to figure out what you don't know. And I think I would tell that to a mom who's homeschooling. You excel at something. There is something that you're good at. And use that to further and help you figure out what you don't know and how to get to that point that you want to be. I would also encourage, finding someone in a community or a co-op or, something like that. Reach out and find those moms who have those similarities to you.
And you maybe don't have to do it alone.
Right. And that was the selling point for us in homeschooling, to know that I was not the only person out there. I wasn't doing this. Their day might look very different from mine, but we're still, working towards the same goal in a lot of different areas. And again, if the Lord has brought you to it, He's going to give you the grace to get through it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard. And a professor that I know, he, encouraged us, lean into the hard times. That's where you're going to learn. That's where you're going to, you're going to see the most growth when you just lean into it and
you really start thriving.
Take it on.
Yeah.
So
that's a refining thing.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for sitting down and talking about this. I hope that this has been an encouragement to
it was
other
good.
homeschooling moms.
It was a good time to reflect and
that is good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
I see the work of your hands, galaxies spinning